Hi everybody, it's Nikki here and welcome to today's video, which is going to be the start of a reading vlog. Yes, I did reading vlogs back in May, and I was thinking of continuing to do that. However, reading vlogs takes a lot of, remembering to vlog. So in June I didn't vlog, so the vlog stopped. So I decided instead I'm going to do themed reading vlogs. So where I've got a specific set of books that I want to read. So today we are starting one of those themed reading vlogs. Now, before we get started, I just want to give you a small explanation of the title of this video. And that is because I want to be upfront and honest with you about this. I am going to be titling this video, Only Child Reads Books About Siblings. Biologically, I am not an only child. Now, before you click off shouting, clickbait, clickbait, let me explain, okay? So, with my mother and father, I have an older brother. He is 2 years older than me, and at the age of 7, when I was 7 years old, my parents divorced, and my dad then went off and married another woman and had another 2 boys and a daughter. So I have 2 younger stepbrothers and a younger stepsister. So technically, biologically, I have 3 brothers and 1 sister. However, the reason why I class myself as an only child is because at the age of 12, I was put into foster care for reasons I won't go into. At that point, I lost contact with my older brother. He did not come into care with me, and I have not spoken or seen my older brother, ever since. To put that into perspective, I was 12 when I went into foster care. I am now 43 years old. I have lived most of my adult life without my brother. Don't worry, it's an okay thing. I'm fine with it. So I have lived 31 years without my older brother in my life. In regards to my younger brothers and sister, my step siblings, my contact with them throughout my life has been sporadic, and I mean once in a blue moon. We might have visited my dad during the 6 weeks holidays, but not very often, especially once I went into foster care. I very rarely saw him then. And then as I became an adult, I think put it this way. Rowena, my daughter, was 4 years old before my dad met her and my stepsister met her. So, and my stepbrothers and stepsister met her. So she was 4 years old at that, the first time they met her. So when I say my family is not close, I'm not talking distance. I'm talking we rarely see each other. And then actually, at my wedding in 2016, I invited my younger brothers and my stepsister to come to my wedding. Only my sister accepted the invitation. My 2 brothers were like, we don't know you, so we're not going to come. To be fair, it was down south. They would have had to travel anyway. They didn't come to the wedding because they claimed they didn't know me. Not long after my wedding, there was a bit of a hoo-ha, shall I say, and I stopped all contact with my father and his side of the family, including my step siblings. So that was 7 years ago. Scott and I are celebrating our 7th wedding anniversary this year. So I haven't spoken or seen my step siblings in the last 6.5 years. So I haven't spoken to my older brother in 31 years. I've had limited contact with my step siblings all of their lives. So I feel like I am an only child, because when I look at books that have these, and this is the catalyst for this video really, is that I saw a lot of books coming out where you know, siblings were going missing, or siblings had been murdered, and their sister or brother would do anything to help them, or to find out, you know, who killed them or whatever. Siblings who would put their lives on the line for their brother or their sister. And I don't understand that concept. I don't have that connection to a sibling that I would give up my life for them, you know? So it was intriguing to me, because I was finding quite a few of those types of books, and I have 4 here. One of them may be liable to change, I don't know. There's a book that is due out this week, and if I get it in time, then yes, I might read it in place of the one that I've picked. But if I don't get it in time, I've got one picked for that. But in honor of the fact that biologically I do have 3 brothers and 1 sister, I've picked 3 books that have got a brother-sister dynamic, and then 1 book that is sister-sister dynamic. So the sister-sister one that may be swapped out for another sister-sister one that is due out this week is Nettle and Bone by Kingfisher. So this is a book, it says, after years of seeing her sisters suffer at the hands of an abusive prince, Mara, the shy convent-raised third-born daughter, has finally realised that no one is coming to their rescue. No one except for Mara herself. So on her quest, Mara is joined by a grave witch, a reluctant fairy godmother, a strapping former knight, and a chicken possessed by a demon, and together the 5 of them intend to be the hand that closes around the throat of the prince and frees Mara's family and their kingdom from its tyrannous ruler at last. So she is fighting to save her sisters who are suffering at the hands of an abusive prince. She's fighting for their lives. So there's my sister-sister connection. The next one is the first of the sister-brother books, and that is Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. I've heard a lot of good reviews about this one, and it was actually this book and the next book I'm going to talk about which really triggered my thoughts on this video idea. So Fortuna Sworn is the last of her kind. Her brother disappeared 2 years ago, leaving her with no family or species to speak of. She hides among humans, spending her days working at a bar and her nights searching for him. The bleak pattern goes on until she catches the eye of a powerful fairy. It soon becomes clear that she may not have bargained with her heart but her very life. So she makes a bargain with this powerful fairy, and he is going to help her find her brother. So I know that this is adult in content, so I'm very excited to be reading this one. I have saved this book particularly for this reading vlog, so I am so excited to be finally getting to read this. So that is my first sister-brother book. The second sister-brother book, and the second book that really inspired this reading vlog, is Amara and the Night Brothers. This is a middle grade, and it says that Amari Peters knows 3 things. Her brother Quinton has gone missing. No one will talk about it. His mysterious job holds a clue. So she is invited for a trial at the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. She must compete for a spot against kids who've known this world their whole lives. An evil magician is threatening the whole supernatural world, and if she doesn't pass the 3 tryouts, she may never find out what happened to her brother. To save her brother, Amara is going to have to fight harder for this than she ever has before. So yeah, she is a young girl putting her life in danger, I suppose, to try and find out what's happened to her brother, where her brother is, and because nobody else is talking about it or saying anything about it, so she's taken it upon herself to try and find him. And the third and final book, that is a sister-brother one, is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie. This one, she's not so much trying to find her brother as the other two books are, but on this one, we have a young girl called Mina, and her homeland has deadly storms, and they believe that the sea god, once their protector, now curses them with death and despair. And to appease him, each year a maiden is thrown into the sea in the hopes that one day the true bride will be chosen and end the suffering. And this year, Mina's brother's beloved is going to be the girl sacrificed, and her brother is threatening to interfere, which could be a death sentence for him. So in order to save her brother from committing this treasonous act, Mina sacrifices herself, takes his beloved's place and sacrifices herself into the sea. And she doesn't have much time, as a human cannot live long in the land of the spirits, and there are those who would do anything to keep the sea god from waking. So yeah, very excited about this one as well. So those are the 4 books that I'm going to be reading during this reading vlog. I'm very excited for all of them. They are all books that have caught my imagination, and especially, as I say, reading them from the point of view as someone who has never had a sisterly or brotherly, that sibling connection. Even when I was a child and I lived with my brother and my mum, you know, after my mum and dad had divorced, my brother was not my best friend. We didn't get on very well. My mum sent me to a different secondary school so that my brother couldn't bully me at school. It was that kind of dynamic. So I don't understand this connection of a sibling. I don't understand that pull to protect your brother or sister. I don't have that. That's why I say biologically, yes, I have 3 brothers and a sister, but technically, emotionally and mentally, I feel like I'm an only child. I've been raised on my own since the age of 12. I've not lived with my stepbrothers or sisters, and I only lived with my older brother until the age of 12. That was, as I say, 31 years ago. So, and it wasn't a pleasant experience even then. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting for me to read these books, see the dynamics of these sisters doing whatever they can. They're all sisters trying to help their family. So yeah, I'm interested. Where do you lie in your family situation? Are you an only child? Are you the eldest? Are you the youngest? Are you the middle child? Do you have a broken family like I do and have better connection with one half and not the other half? Let me know in the comments section. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get started with Fortuna Sworn first. I think I'm so excited to read this one. I have, as I say, been holding on to this for this reading vlog, so I'm so excited to get started on this. So excited. And you know me, I do like some fairy stories. So yes, I'm very excited for this one. I believe it's adult, so there may be some smutty content in there as well. So woohoo! So yeah, I'm going to get started on this one. Hi, back again. So I finished it. I finished Fortuna Sworn by KJ Hutton, and I gotta say, I'm a bit disappointed. Unfortunately for me, it was only a 3-star. I'm intrigued by the ending, and I will continue the series in the hopes that it's going to get better, because I've heard so much hype about this series. But for me, this book was just, it was missing bits. Things were just over too quickly. It was missing padding, I guess, in a way. And that's not something normally you want in a book, because padding is just like filler as such. But with this, it was like things were happening, but they happened within a paragraph, and that was it. It was over. And I was just like, even like the smutty bits, and I say that in quotation marks because they weren't really that smutty. Like, they were literally so quick, so fast. I'd have been deeply disappointed if I was the girl. And it was just, I felt like as well, some of the characters were, their characteristics were kind of like flipping 180 degrees with things that they would do or would say. Like with her brother Damon, like his character was just confusing for me, because he's been held captive by this fae who's been taunting him and torturing him with horrible images of his family dying. And then when his sister does come to save him, he's like, yeah, no, I don't want to leave. I want to stay with this person who's been doing all this to me because I love him. Now I get it, you know, Stockholm syndrome and all of that, but still, it doesn't make sense, you know. It doesn't, that wouldn't make sense. You've got to give me, that's why I say it kind of needs a bit of padding, it kind of needs a bit more filling to explain to me why, despite the fact that her brother's been treated poorly by this fae, he's still madly in love with this fae and doesn't want to be rescued by his sister. It doesn't make sense to me, okay? And I get her understanding. I do not understand Colith at all, who is the fae that she makes the bargain with to marry, and he's going to help her find her brother. What is his reasoning? I guess we're going to find that out when she discovers what he said in his vows, I suppose. The ending was intriguing for me because we find out that one character who we thought was a inconsequential character all the way through turns out to be something more. But yeah, there's enough there to keep me interested and wanting to carry on with the series. But there's a lot of questions here that I feel could have been filled in a bit more with a bit more words. This is less than 300 pages. This could have easily been 400 pages, and I would have been happy with that if it had just given me a bit more filling, a bit more understanding, a bit more oomph in some of the scenes. Because even like yeah, the smutty bits were over like that. I was just like, oh, okay, we're over now, are we? It was almost worse than Fade to Black, because at least with Fade to Black you can understand that. But this was like, it was just over before it even begun. And if this is supposed to be an adult's book, I've read more in a YA. I've had better smut scenes in YA than I've had in this. And if this is supposed to be adult, I'm kind of disappointed. Maybe I had like built this up in my head to be something better than what it actually is. I do have to remember that this is indie published, so you know it wouldn't have had, you know, an editor going through with a fine-tooth comb to help flush out some of those scenes that I felt were lacking. But still, I've read better. I have read better. And as I say, I can understand Fortuna's wanting to save her brother and to do anything for that. I get her character, but her brother, I don't understand. I'm not given enough information to understand why he's being the way he is. And yeah, I kind of let down, kind of let down by it. So that's the first book over and done with. So it's 3 stars for that one. Here is the book that, well, I think it's the book anyway. It's from Waterstones. That I was thinking of replacing. I can't get it open. Bear with me. That I'm thinking of replacing Nettle and Bone with. It is. So the book is Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torzes. So there it is. Beautiful. Oh, look at those sprayed edges. Gorgeous. It says 2 sisters tasked with guarding a library of magical but deadly books, a shadowy organisation that will risk anything to possess them, even murder. So yeah, spellbinding, edge of your seat thriller. Ink Blood Sister Scribe is a mystery steeped in magic and dark ancient powers that will appeal to everyone who loves books, libraries, and an all-consuming page-turning read. So just a plain black cover with gold spine writing. End pages look like that. And it is a signed edition. I don't know which one I want to read now, because I was thinking if this came in time, I would replace Nettle and Bone with this one. But I'm kind of really intrigued by the demon-possessed chicken. Do you know what? I'm going to read Nettle and Bone. I think I am going to read Nettle and Bone. And I will leave Ink Blood Sister Scribe for another day. So I think... yeah, I think I'm going to move on to Nettle and Bone next by Kingfisher. So hopefully this will be better than, unfortunately, Fortuna Swan was for me. So yeah, I'm going to move on to... So I have... okay. I've started Nettle and Bone by Kingfisher. I'm already quite a bit away through it. Currently on chapter 7, page 91. So I read about 90 pages, obviously. It's okay. It's not pulling me back in. I'm reading this, obviously. We've got to keep in mind, you know, that I don't understand sibling love because I've never had it. It's never been there in my life. I don't understand this need to protect or to take care of or to look after siblings. So I'm reading these books hoping to get some of that understanding and some of that sibling love, basically. Now, in this one, yes, this is the one I picked for, like, sisters. So, sisterly love. Sister to sister, basically. And her eldest sister dies very early on, so I don't think that's too much of a spoiler. But her middle sister, because our main character is the youngest, at first she's very horrible to our main character Mara, but then due to circumstances I feel like her middle sister, whose name I forget, starts to show a bit more care and love towards Mara, because of circumstances which I don't want to go into because obviously spoilers. And I don't know, because as I said at the beginning of this video, I do have siblings, but I've never grown up with them. I've never had a relationship with them. And it's almost like, I don't know, I kind of wish sometimes that my siblings would like get in touch and would want to be a part of my life. But the fact that they don't, the fact that they've never tried, any time that we've ever had any contact, it's been because I've made the leap, I've made the jump, I've made the contact. They've never ever contacted me, and they could if they wanted to. They know where I am. They might not now because I've moved, but anyway, good. But yeah, I just, at the moment, we're not, we're 100 pages in of a 320 page book, and I don't think we've got to the action yet. I know most of the action is going to happen at the end, but I feel like we've got a lot of setup is what I'm feeling like. So I'm not being pulled back into this book is what I'm trying to say. I'm not like dying to pick it up every day. So I'm a little bit, I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm not connecting, because I don't have a sibling connection, I don't have that pull, or if I'm not connecting because of the writing. I don't know. I'll have to keep reading and find out. But at the moment, it's just, we haven't even met the Grave Witch yet. I think we're about to. I think I'm just about to, was where I left off. There's a lot of backwards and forwards as well, like at the beginning. And one thing that shocked me as well, our main character is 30 years old in this. We start off the story where she's on like a quest. So she has to do tasks set by the Grave Witch. But then we get the flashbacks to why she's doing these tasks for the Grave Witch. But our main character is 30 years old. So if you have a prompt for a readathon for an older main protagonist, Nettle and Bone, 30-year-old girl, woman. She's not a girl. A 30-year-old woman is the main character. So, you know, fits that prompt. So there you go. We haven't met the demon chicken yet. So, I guess I will carry on. I thought that we were going to meet this strapping former knight, but we haven't. We haven't met him yet. Maybe I might start enjoying it more then. I just do love my romance, you know I do. So yeah, I guess I'd better get back into reading this, I suppose. So yeah, that's my update for Nettle and Bone so far. Hi, so I have finally finished Nettle and Bone by Kingfisher. This was for my sister, trying to save sister kind of book. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It was not what I was expecting. This chicken possessed by a demon that I was kind of really excited about was nothing. Like, it was a chicken that one of the characters had, that she kept saying, it's possessed by a demon, it's possessed by a demon. But there was nothing from it. You know, there was no banter with the chicken, like the demon inside the chicken. It wasn't vocal. It just squawked like a chicken. The chicken never did anything to show that it was a demon. So I don't know if it really was possessed by a demon or it was just a very naughty chicken that the owner of it decided it must be possessed by a demon, because why else would it be the type of chicken that it is? I don't know, but that nothing came of it, and I was deeply disappointed. If you promise me a demon possessed chicken, I want a demon possessed chicken, you know? But no, and having to complete 3 impossible tasks. She completed 2 of them, and I won't say about the 3rd, but that was like, what? Even the character in the book was like, what? For the 3rd task. And it was just like, most of this book is travelling. The majority of it. The last, considering this book is only 319 pages, maybe the last 30, 40 pages is some action, but not like, it was not like a big showdown or anything. It was like this was the first draft. You know, I think that's what it was. It was like this was the first draft, and nobody at any point before this got published went, you might want to flesh that out a bit. Maybe make it a 400-page book. People wouldn't mind. You know, they'd like a bit more. It just felt like a first draft. Like, there was, as I say, the demon-possessed chicken was not utilised as much as I had hoped it would. The strapping former knight, the reluctant fairy godmother, they weren't, it made it out like this was going to be a ragtag group of people coming together to save the sister of our main character, Mara. And it just felt like they were going on a Sunday jaunt through the countryside. I'm sorry, but was this supposed to be spooky or anything? Because like with that kind of cover with skulls and, you know, swords and, you know, and things, you just, charming and macabre and effortlessly good storytelling. It's funny, frightening and full of heart. What book are these people reading? Because there was nothing frightening and nothing macabre about any of this. Like, my favourite character was the dog of bones. And what does that say? Not impressed. This is not going well. This reading books about siblings is not going well because, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It just, it irks me. It irks me that there was so much potential in that. I need to write a book about a demon-possessed chicken, that's what it is. So I have moved on to AMARI and the Knight Brothers. This is for a sister trying to save her missing brother. I've took it out of its paper thing and I've got it in my homemade book sleeve with Ariel fabric. This is a special edition with, can you see those shiny edges? Woo! It's also signed by the author as well, B.B. Alston. I'm currently on page 26. This is starting off really positively. So this is a children's middle grade story. So I'm not expecting too much drama. I'm not expecting too much danger. I'm not expecting anything dark and macabre about this one. But already the intrigue and the interest is so much higher than in Nettle and Bone. In this one, you get the sense of magic. The sense of magic in this, our character is at school, and she's obviously an outcast at the school, and I guess that's how she's going to go to the new school. I think she goes to a school, doesn't she? And yeah, I guess that's how the story is going to propel us into what's going to happen with her trying to find her brother. Obviously, this is the first in a series, I believe. I already own the second book, and I believe that the third one is being published later this year, I want to say. So I'm guessing this is going to be very similar to Nevermore. It's got that kind of vibe. So if you like Nevermore, then you'll probably like this one. This book has been out for ages, so you've probably already read this. But yeah, still continuing, and I think I'm going to get through this one a hell of a lot quicker. This one has got 375 pages, and as I say, I'm already 26 pages in, so 350 pages left. But the font is quite large, so and you know, wide spaced. So I feel like I can fly through this book a lot faster. So, which is good because we're getting closer to the end of the month, and I've barely read anything so far this month. So I have finished AMARI and the Night Brothers. I ended up giving this a 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. This, out of the 3 books that I've read for this vlog so far, this is the first time that her brother has been missing for the majority of the story. In the other 2 books, in Fortuna Sworn and in Nettle and Bone, our main character found their missing sibling, or their sibling, quite early on in the book, and then it was a case of trying to rescue them from that place. Whereas in this, AMARI's brother really is missing right until the very end. And I don't know whether this is because it's a middle grade, or maybe it's the school setting that they're in, that made me enjoy it a bit more. But I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the dynamics of the friendships that she makes, and even the, you know, the bully in the school was really well dealt with. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I loved the magic in here as well. It's along the lines of Harry Potter, Nevermore, the Magisterium books by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare, that kind of magic school setting. Child didn't realise that magic existed, but only in fairy tales kind of thing, and then finds out it's actually real, and then is taken to a magic school, and then finds out that actually she's got more power than everybody else, and you know, she's kind of the chosen one, and that kind of thing. And I can understand why that storyline, that those tropes are big sellers, because a lot of people like those tropes and a lot of people enjoy those tropes. And even though it was a well, you know, those tropes have been done and done and done and done, I still felt this had a fresh feeling to it, a fresh take on it. The voice was slightly different. I don't know if it's because this is from a male author, that it felt like it was coming from a fresh perspective. But I don't know, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And actually, once I finished this, I was so tempted to pick up book 2 almost straight away because I wanted to know what happens next and what happens next to Amari, and how she's going to progress from the ending of this book. So yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. There was a couple of things in here that it didn't quite give me the 5-star feels, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And out of the 3 books I've read so far, this has definitely been the one that really, I don't know, I'm reading these from the perspective of an only child reading books about siblings, and I've got to keep that in mind when I'm doing my reviews of these, because I'm looking at it from that perspective. And I guess with this one, because her brother is missing throughout the majority of the book, I felt like her decisions throughout the book were solely based on doing what was best for her to find her brother. Whereas I feel like because the characters in the previous 2 books were able to find their sibling pretty early on, it was almost like they made choices that weren't always the best for their sibling, and was more for themselves than for their sibling. Whereas Amari was super focused on what she wanted to do. Her focus was on finding her brother throughout, and I really got that. I really got that her one focus was her brother, and she would do anything and everything she possibly could to find him and save him and find out what happened to him. So I really got that feeling from this book that I didn't quite get from the other 2 books. So very happy to have read this, and I will definitely be trying to pick up book 2 sooner rather than later. So once I finished that, I moved on to my next book. It's not this book, this is my covering for it, but I moved on to The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, and I'm already oh, look at that, I stopped halfway through a chapter. I don't normally do that, I must have been tired. I'm on chapter 5. Oh, I know why I stopped. Scott had made tea. So I'm on chapter 5, which is I'm on page 44, and flying through this. I feel like I could really get this finished in a day or 2. There's only 321 pages, so I have 280 pages left. We are thrown straight into the action with this one. I got the feeling, like I felt like the writing is so good that I didn't feel like I needed to get to know the relationship between her and her brother too much before she goes to sacrifice herself, because you felt it from that first page. You felt her desperation for her brother. She is literally rushing into the ocean. I really like that. Again, I really like the writing style. I'm getting like Asian inspiration from this as well, with some of the names of the characters and things like that, and some of the descriptions and things, and yeah, I'm really loving it. I'm really enjoying it so far. So I'm going to carry on reading this today. Hopefully I might even get it finished today. I don't know. I have some editing to do later again. But I'm going to sit and have my lunch now and then carry on reading for a bit. But really, really loving The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. I don't know if this has a sequel to it or not. That is my update. 4 stars for this. Loving this and hoping to continue. So yes. I'm going to carry on now, again, as I say, have my lunch and then do some more reading. So I'm here to wrap up this vlog. I have finally finished The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. Spoiler, she doesn't fall, she jumps because she sacrifices herself to save the woman who her brother loves. And I have mixed feelings about this book. I ended up giving it 3 stars simply because in the beginning it took me a while to work out how old our main character was, because this was reading quite middle grade-ish for me. I thought that this girl was maybe 12 or 13 years old. Turns out she's 16. And then in the middle, a bit of the action sort of got a little bit like confusing for me to follow, in that it was, I thought one thing was happening, but then something else happened, and I was like, but isn't that character supposed to be? And I was just really confused about what was happening. And then in the end, it turned into a love story, so it's most definitely a YA. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, this whole reading vlog is about trying to understand books about siblings. And I felt like this was a bit like Fortuna Swan, a bit like Nettle and Bone. Yes, she was driven to do what she did because of the love of her sibling, but the story isn't about her sibling, it's about her and her journey. And so, for the sake of this vlog, I didn't get that sibling love. I didn't get that sibling like mentality of I will do anything to protect you. Yes, she jumped into the sea to save the woman or the young girl that her brother loved from being sacrificed. But other than that, her brother was barely in this story. So I didn't get that sibling love and that sibling story that I was hoping to get. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I didn't fly through this as quickly as I thought I would. 21 pages. I should have been able to read this in like a day, 2 days at most, when I'm in a good reading mood, but I didn't. This still took me 3 or 4 days to finish, and I don't know whether that's just I'm back in a reading slump. I don't know if that's just because my interest is being held elsewhere. I don't know. I don't know what it is that just didn't draw me through this book. So all in all, I gave The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea 3 stars. I gave Fortuna Swan by KJ Sutton 3 stars. I gave Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher 3 stars. But the winner throughout this all was AMARI and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This was the book that really gave me that sibling love, that idea that she would do anything to protect her sibling, to help her sibling, to find her brother. And this was what I was looking for throughout this whole vlog. So if you are looking for a book that gives you that sibling love, that sibling I would die for you mentality, then AMARI and the Night Brothers is my recommendation from all 4 of these books. But not one of them was a bad read. There was nothing here that I would DNF. There was nothing here that I didn't enjoy. But for the sake of this vlog, then AMARI and the Night Brothers is the one that comes out on top. Will I be continuing any of these series? I will definitely be continuing the AMARI series, and I will definitely continue the Fortuna Swan series. I don't think that The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea is part of a series, or Nettle and Bone. So for that, I guess, again, it is successful in that I do want to continue with the ones that are series. And I'm happy that I have read the other 2. But yeah, that is my vlog for this sibling reading vlog. I really enjoyed these books, but as I say, I didn't expect it to take me all month to read just 4 books. And I have read just one other book. I haven't read anything else this month. So I don't know whether it's these books that have slowed me down, or my reading slump, is back. I don't know, but I hope it's not going to continue because I have a lot of reading to do in August. And yeah, I cannot be in a reading slump next month. So that is the end of the vlog. Are there any like brother, sister, 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 or brother, brother, sibling books that you would recommend that I maybe pick up to try and get that sibling rivalry even? Like, are there any books where siblings are at each other, fighting each other maybe? Because I would probably relate to that a hell of a lot more than siblings who are trying to fight for each other. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.